Job scheduling. I'm going to talk to you about probably one of the most non-fun things to do in a service business, in a contracting business that's larger. And for us, we do residential work and commercial work, which makes it even harder. So if we only did residential work, a lot simpler. We control the schedule. You know, one job gets done, another job starts, and vice versa. It just keeps going down the line. When you do commercial work and you don't set the schedule, so you have commercial work for general contractors, you have direct to facility work where you're just working right for the facility, which is a lot easier, and a whole bunch of different things in there. So general contractor work, you're at the mercy of their schedule. You're hoping that the contractors before you, the carpenters, the electricians, everybody else is on schedule. So you know that the schedule the general contractor gave you is real. And I'll tell you, it's never real. The schedule they give us is never, ever, ever real. We've had delays as short as a week to we've had a year delay on a project. So what does that do to our schedule? Well, it totally F's it up. We have all our guys lined out. So we'll have, say we have January scheduled. We have all the jobs scheduled. We use a board in the back. We use an app on the computer. We have these jobs scheduled. We have materials allocated. We have labor allocated. Get ready to start the job. And guess what? The job didn't start. You're a week backed up. Come to us next week. That's easier said than done because now we had 3 guys scheduled for that job. We have to try to move around and wrangle some other jobs for them to keep them working. They start those jobs. Now we have to make sure they finish those new jobs before they get to the next job that we already had scheduled. And if you don't show up on a commercial job, it's the end of the world to these people. They'll call you, they'll threaten you, they'll replace you, and is it worth going into legal troubles about it? Sometimes not. So it's always a huge balancing act to do this schedule. All I can recommend is what we do is we know daily how many hours we can schedule for manpower. So how many painters do you have? Times 8 hours. 10 painters, 8 hours. You have 80 hours to schedule that day. We try not to schedule all those 80 hours because things invariably change. So we'll schedule lighter, and we'll keep scheduling lighter as the week goes on, and we'll try to space out some jobs. The downside to that is people will call up last second to us, a lot of commercial jobs. Hey, we need an office painted right now. I need it done tomorrow. So that's great. We save some hours. We have time available. Now, where does this go bad? It goes bad on residential projects because we gave them a tentative date. When we call and give you a tentative date, for some reason, that always is the exact date in people's minds. So say you close out a job today. You won the job. I'm picking you, Ryan, to come paint my house. What day can you start? Okay, Mrs. Jones, we're going to start tentatively February 2nd. But that could be a week before, it could be a week after, or more. We'll call you a week before that starts. We say it all the time. And what happens is most of the people will understand and listen. Some people won't listen to that. It's in their contract proposal. It's in emails that we send. And like a couple days before that tentative date, we'll get a phone call and it'll say, hey, I moved all my furniture. Everything's ready for you to paint. And we'll say, Mrs. Jones, we didn't call you for the exact start date. And they'll freak out. You told me it was going to start. It has to start. I took off of work. I did this. I did that. And we have to, again, explain that's not how it works on our end. We've told you about it. We've sent you emails about it. So it breaks down on residential work when they believe they need an exact start date. The only time we stick to an exact start date for people is when I go out on the estimate and they tell me that, hey, I need this done February 5th, between February 5th and 10th, because I have a party on the 11th and I need this done that day. I can't move from that. That's fine. I trust that. I respect that. We can do that. Usually when I go do an estimate, I'll say, what's your time frame? And we ask twice. We'll ask on the phone and I ask in person because sometimes you'll get 2 different days. Usually I'll get, we don't have a time frame, just as soon as you can get to it. And usually that's true. Sometimes that's not true. It's not true once we send over the start date. So people change things all the time. What I'm saying is schedule light. Schedule yourself light. You can always move things forward or backwards or forward if you want. So scheduling, tough thing to do. We do it every day. It's not my most fun thing to do, but we have to do it. You have to do it well. All right? Thanks.